Kid was sparring and they didn't win. How are we going to deal with that? Matt Thompson, Raising a Warrior. So your son or daughter, maybe it's just a small match inside the school. Maybe they did a tournament. They didn't win. Sometimes when that happens, the student will suddenly want to pause their membership, or maybe they suddenly find some other things they're interested in. It's understandable. Nobody likes losing. I think the first step, though, has to happen before they even set foot into the arena or the tournament area. And that would be this. Look, you're going to win or you're going to learn. And in that, I think you have to kind of prepare each student to just say that this is a process. You're going to go in and you're going to have some performance. And the performance is going to go away.
Are you not entertained?
And there's going to be a win, lose, maybe there's a draw in there. Most of the time it's win or lose. And you're going to have one of those too. And you have to be equally prepared for either. And that if it's a loss or if it's a win, you have to be able to observe what happened and tear it apart, figure out what went wrong, what went right.
I am the one, the way your son don't.
Adapt, put together new strategies, new tactics if you need them. Tactics would be like, what are you physically doing? Strategy is the way you're doing it, how you set it up. Just be clear about those two concepts. And then, go out and have another performance. Rinse and repeat, do this over and over again. And getting them prepped for that sort of mindset. If they have that mindset, and if things don't go their way, then, okay, they can handle that. They can go, all right, I knew this was possible. And then once they have that, then they'll sit down, look at the footage, make sure there's footage, and then go about that process. But having them plug into that process is a big deal. Now, having said all that, once you've prepped all that, as a parent, you got to be careful. You're standing there, sitting there, whatever it is. You're watching them, and let's say it's a really bad loss. It's not like 1 point. It's like in Taekwondo, for example, we have if somebody gets maybe 12 or 15 points above the other person, they just stop. Because it's just, when I was coming up, they didn't do that. Oh, you'd see like 30-0.
Loser.
Ooh, painful. And so they just don't want to do that. That person wants to crawl under a rock and die at that point.
Nope.
That hurts. And if your face shows shame or disappointment, that's when it moves from being just a simple loss at a game to a defining moment for them. I let the people I love the most in my life down.
Oh, we just fell down. We should cry.
That's rough, especially on a little person. So you got to be real careful about that. So mom and dad, parents, they have to be prepared too. You have to be able to say to yourself, if they win, stand there, look at them, strong, and nod, be proud of them. The first one doesn't have to be beautiful. Make sure the next one's better. And after that, make sure the next one's better. And if they keep doing that, they can become a very high-level player pretty quickly. I mean, in any topic, if you adopt that mindset and that way of doing things, you can get pretty far. So it's important that mom and dad don't see their child's performance as a reflection on them.
Took quite a fall, didn't we, Master Bruce?
And why do we fall, Bruce? So we can learn to pick ourselves up.
That's a tough one. That happens even with little kids. They have little kids that come in, like 4 years old. They're just playing games. They're trying to learn how to tumble, just do a little roll. And I'll see a parent, if the kid's just, being a little kid, a little ornery that day, it's like the parent's embarrassed. And they feel like that's reflection on them. Like, I'm a bad parent because my 3.5-year-old's not listening to this guy talk about how to roll on the floor. And you just have to forgive the whole process. Just forgive the imperfection and the humanity of it, and just go. Instead, well, they're doing their best, and today's not the best that they were capable of. They're doing the best with what their head's at, I guess. So instead, what you have to do is just, same as them, you have to model falling in love with the process, right? Because that same process that they're going through, performance, analysis, strategize, redeploy, that same over and over, you got to do it with them. So how you deal with their failure is instructive with how they'll deal with their own. And again, is it really a failure? If you're constantly building, it's just a data point along a long stream of data points. And once they do that, think about the inward qualities that come from a person that's grown up that way. They have compassion for themselves. If they fail, they say, okay, I failed. I got it. Accept it. That's not a reflection on me as a human being. The way I deal with it is a reflection on me as a human being. So if I have compassion for myself and say, hey, look, I'm working hard. I'm doing my best. It didn't break my way. Let's get back out there. We'll try it again. We'll do better. That's going to do more for them in their personal relationships, in any work environment they're going to be in. I mean, with all the stuff with AI going on,
generative AI.
we have no idea what skills are going to be useful in the future. But we know that one will be useful. Being able to learn from a mistake and not let it crumble your confidence and shake you at your core, you just move forward. That's a big deal. That's one that we'll use as long as there's people. And sure, there are going to be some kids that are going to get fuming mad about it. Some kids really, they hate losing much more than they like winning, if that makes any sense. They really hate losing. Winning is them is indifferent. See kids like that. They often grow up to be very high performers. But, help them deal with it with grace, with compassion for themselves, because I'm pretty convinced you're not going to be compassionate for other people until you can love yourself. And loving yourself even when you've made some mistakes and maybe you're a little embarrassed, that's a big deal. That does a lot more than any kick or grappling technique I could ever teach. Somebody knows that. They're almost unstoppable. They're just like a zombie for learning. They just keep going and going. Help your kids to be zombies. Help them to love themselves, forgive themselves for being imperfect, and just look at these things as a process. As they're moving forward and as they're growing, model it. And if you don't do that now, start. Sometimes we're raising ourselves to be warriors.